Hey guys, welcome back to the Daily Evan. So today I had set out for a little excursion with him and I. I'm trying to catch before the rain starts, and I know it's coming. I can see the clouds, but I was trying to get out and play with him a little bit. It was very muggy and hot, so I had set my mind on doing something that we completely forgot. I completely skipped this step in our training. I don't know how, but I completely forgot to teach Evan how to yield the forequarters or yield the hindquarters. So today I have set it upon myself to give him a start on that. Now, because he is such a good boy and I've never really had him have any problems with like kicking at all or turning his butt towards me, except for once or twice just after I was showing him how to drive a little bit, which we really haven't completed. But I completely skipped this. So he doesn't know how to yield the forequarters. He doesn't know how to yield the haunches. And after playing with my friend's very well-trained horses, I kind of realized this and was completely embarrassed. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have a 15, almost 16-month-old animal, and he has absolutely no idea how to yield the forequarters, the hindquarters. So today I've decided that I'm going to play with him a little bit, and then we are going to get a little bit of a tutorial on how to do that. Not you guys, him. And so I'm going to show you here in a little bit. We're just going to go through some of our basic grooming and training and fly spraying and like pre-grooming. And I'm just going to show you a little bit about what he did right and what I did wrong. Here I'm getting a little fly spray, trying to cover his eyes so he doesn't get it in his eyes, but oh, nice, he's bopped me in the head. It's a very, very flattering outfit for me. It was too hot to do anything, so I was completely, just on one of those kicks today. So I'm just going to do a little sensitizing here and do a little lunging, and then I'll come back toward the end and I will let you know what I was doing with him. Alright guys, so we are going to be starting with a little bit of the natural horsemanship way, and that was really good. I just kind of like get his head bent towards me and start kind of waving at the air, and if he moves off, then I will release the pressure, and if not, then I'll give him the little taps to kind of ask him to move over, and I'm looking for this inside hip to cross over that outside while keeping his front legs kind of pivoting around each other. And you see here in the beginning, he was a little confused. He wanted to keep moving forward, so I had to kind of keep my arm up at his shoulder to kind of keep him his body traveling sideways rather than around me. So, and obviously, as you can see here, I am not in the correct position, but that's almost on purpose, just because I don't want to be beside him. I want to kind of be in front of kind of the front of the point of his shoulder, just because he already has a really nice move over when I ask him to, and that was a nice little cross. but I wanted to kind of instill the move your bum away from me, kind of get your butt away from me, and kind of instill a little bit more of the sensitiveness towards the back of him. So as you'll see, it kind of bending over a little bit, waving, and I didn't even have to touch him there, so a little bit of a release and some nice kind words always do better than treats or anything for Evan. He gets kind of pushy around treats, so here we go again, and I had to kind of bop him a little bit there, but a nice little crossover, so I kind of rubbed into a stop. And you'll see it's really easy for him to keep his head tipped to me because I was so diligent about him being able to flex and have that really soft head that it's really easy for him to kind of pick his head up, always irritated the flies, and kind of turn his rump away from me. And so this is just kind of what I'm trying to do. As you see, he's kind of grown up in the butt again. He's growing so much that I can't keep track. So that was really good. One nice step. He didn't cross over a lot, but all I had to do is just kind of like motion towards his tush, and he just gave it to me. So a lot of love and praise, and you can see he's very happy with that. Just like with always, he's just so eager to learn and super willing, and this is the very, very first time ever that anybody's asked him for this kind of movement. And very nice, the first steps. And I was a little short in releasing there. There's a couple of times that I was a little short in releasing that reward when he stepped over a couple of times, and I didn't either release enough or I forgot to stand back up. So I'm still kind of getting back into this whole train a horse how to do things, because I forget that sometimes that he is a baby, that he's not a perfectly trained horse, that he hasn't been there and done that, because that's just his attitude. And unfortunately that kind of makes me a little lackadaisical, as I would put it, with his training, because he's just so easy. There he's a fly in his leg. He's just so easy that whatever I do, he picks up so quickly. I never ever have to fuss with him. So there, I asked him to take a few extra steps now that I know he's got that idea and kind of wants to play and learn and work with me. So as you can see, the sky is getting darker and darker. I'm coming around to the other side, and I'm pretty much doing the exact same thing. I want him to understand what I want and what I do, and I started with the other side because the right side tends to be his more sticky side, and he's definitely kind of a left-handed guy. And you see I kind of got his head turned, and he doesn't really know, and then there we go. I remembered to release better, because the left-hand side tends to be my better side. I don't know why. Maybe my right brain is better than his. And there he's trying to kind of take a step forward, but then he focused on the pressure of the whip, because I have the line, because I have the line up by his eye, and I'm asking him just to relax and kind of focus in. And there he kind of stepped without even me asking him to. So I'm trying to come up a little bit more towards his head. And there he kind of tried to take a step back. More pressure. There he goes. A little bit, and then I released a little bit more, and then he just kept going around. Sorry, allergies again. He is such a quick learner. I never really have a problem, and today was no exception. And again, he tried to do it before I even asked, so I kind of rewarded, because he kind of knows, and kind of bent his head around. And sometimes he'll get his head a little bent a little too much, like around me, because he tends to want to kind of wrap his head around me. And as you see through most of my videos, I am not a very good trainer when it comes with my own baby, because he's always up on me, he's always in my space, because he's so quiet and sweet, and he no longer has any kind of nippy or anything like that. He is just always up in my space, and I really enjoy that. And I know it's not, the best, but he's my baby, so I'm going to be doing most of the work with him. So if it's my doing, it's my fault. So again, I'm coming up a little bit higher by his neck rather than by his shoulder, to kind of stop him from turning in and around on me, and that was a whole lot better. He did quite a few steps without having any problems. I was very, very proud of him. We're going to do a couple little things here, which is our other kind of sticky point, is trying to get him to back up. He has some back, but he does not march, as you can see. I've never really had like a stick, so I usually use my hands, and he kind of follows me and kind of like, okay, I'll take a couple of steps back, but not ever like in a marching position. He never, does the back up with any real enthusiasm. And what you can't see here is I have the stick, and I'm kind of giving him a little pop on the chest between his legs to kind of get him to wake up a little bit and realize that I want, a little bit more excitement out of him. But as you see, still just a couple of, steps back. He really tries, so he's a good boy, and here you see he's coming up all up on me, and I absolutely adore that. And I know it's bad, but as I said again, he's my boy, and I don't really have to worry, for the most part, even about him spooking or running into me. So here we go again, and that was a couple little bit more of a marching steps. So, and he stops and, releases and licks and chews. He's always such a good boy, but then he's really eager to come right back up onto me. You also see through most of the time that I try to keep my hands over his head and over his neck, and I'm really trying hard to let him, to kind of focus with him, keeping his arms, my arms under, over the top of him, so he keeps his head like below my shoulder. And again, we're just trying a couple more steps. I feel the impending rain coming, so I'm asking for a few more steps. Nothing too crazy, just 3 or 4 now that he kind of understands what I'm asking and what I'm talking about. And again, I'm asking him again, and he's trying really hard to kind of pivot, but you'll see he turned around me rather than pivoting on that front leg, which is all right. He's just learning. Ugh. You look so pretty in this light. He sure is rounding out and turning into a pretty looking little stud. And I guess on that note, I could say that I really have decided, for at least for right now, that I am not going to be cutting Evan. He's in the paddock with 2 mares. One of them was confirmed in heat, and I know he's still young, but he's just not a stud right now. And if that changes, then I will clip him, but to be honest, he's so sweet. I would rather have him fully intact and have a little bit of that extra testosterone, because he's so quiet. If that stays, then so are his little testicles. So I'm just asking one more time for him to kind of pivot around a little bit. He doesn't really want to pay attention because he feels the rain coming. But he's also tired at this point just from doing nothing. But that was good. I got one, and the rain started, so that kind of quit that. All right, guys, I've rambled on enough. Thanks so much for joining, and I hope you learned something, because I sure as a heck did today. No matter what I do with him, he is a perfect, sweet, sweet, wonderful little boy. I can't wait for show season. We're going to be going to dressage at Devon this year and entering the yearling classes. I'm really excited because a lot of his brothers and sisters, half-brothers, half-sisters, are going, and it'll be nice to see the people that bred him again and kind of show him off and let everybody see how sweet and quiet he is. All right, guys, thanks for stopping by, and I will see you soon.